So you want to do van life in the USA and you're a foreigner and you don't know how? Today, we're being proper Singaporeans and we're going to show you how. Let's go.
So, if you are wondering how to start van life, the first ever step into getting into America is to get that visa. Because you will be spending more than 90 days here and an ESTA or visa waiver program will not qualify. So definitely get either B1 or B2 visa and you can apply that on the website of the US Embassy. So, if you want to start your van life easy, we would recommend that you definitely come on either a student visa or work permit. Why, you might ask? Well, it's just easier for you to facilitate administrative processes like with buying the van and getting an address, having a bank account number, and having a student visa. And a work permit just allows you to do that.
So in our case, I came here on a 6-month student visa, and that gave me access to bank accounts, a social security number, place to build my van, and all the required information that they will ask you when you are required to purchase a van. So if you don't have any family and friends here in the US where you can send packages to and for you to set up address at, don't worry, you can still do van life in the US. What we would do is come to a college town during the summer. A college town is basically a town where big place where there's a university and a lot of college students stay here. But during the summer, everyone goes home and the whole college town is empty and you can get a really cheap place with a lot of amenities around you. So come and find a college town during the summer and try to build your van there.
So now you got your visa and you're looking for a college town, make sure you fly into a college town in the south with a Home Depot, a Lowe's, or a Walmart, or a Walmart equivalent nearby for you to have the foundation to build out your van.
So part 1 is done, the most tedious part, getting to America and getting your visas. Now we're going to teach you on part 2, how to buy a van. In general in America, there's 2 ways to buy a van or vehicle. One is via a private party, one is via a dealer. Private parties are generally cheaper, but it's a little bit more of a hassle. You have to negotiate and there's a lot of drawbacks for buying for a private party. A dealer will save you a lot of time, especially on the administrative process. However, it is more expensive. So the choice is yours.
So it doesn't matter if you're purchasing your vehicle from a private party or from a dealer. Here are some couple of things to take note of anyway, with the number one thing being rust. So in America, it's a fact that cars up north are much better than cars down south, primarily being the rust. So up north, they salt the roads a lot, which actually goes underneath vehicles, and that's why it corrodes the underneath of your vehicle and creates, of course, rust. That's why you don't want to buy a car up north. However, why do you not want to buy a car down south that's near a coastal town? It's because the salt from the seas also goes under your vehicle and corrodes it, and you know the story goes. That's why we would recommend flying to a college town down south. Don't go near a coastal town. Buy your vehicle. You'll be good to go.
So if there's one thing and only one thing that you take away from this video is that when you buy a van, please get a pre-purchase inspection. Now, what is a pre-purchase inspection? Basically, a third-party neutral mechanic goes and inspects the underneath of your vehicle, stuff that you can't do as a normal person without lifting up the car, and that guy gives you a report about whether or not this vehicle is good for your purchase or not. When you meet someone from a private party, just tell them to meet you at a third-party neutral mechanic and just have the mechanic run through a pre-purchase inspection. This $100 is going to stretch you a long way. In our experience, it could have saved us thousands and thousands of dollars. So don't skip out this step. Don't listen to whatever the private party has to say. And if you don't have time, you can even get a pre-purchase inspection done for you prior to you getting a car. There are websites online that will do this, that will send a mechanic and give you a pre-purchase inspection before you even reach the car and give you an online report. So please don't skip out this step.
So if you're buying the van from a private party, remember to always ask for the title and registration and that it matches the person who's selling it to you, so you're not buying a stolen vehicle. Also, check all the maintenance records, and if the vehicle has not been maintained regularly, don't do it. Just don't buy it. Take your money and leave.
So the next thing that you have to check is whether or not the vehicle that you're buying is a clean title or it has a salvage title. Salvage title means it has been salvaged after an accident. You always want to get a vehicle with a clean title, most of the time, okay, at least. Now, how do you check if it's a clean title? First, you can ask the guy. If he says it's not clean, then so be it. Second, you can always ask for the VIN number of the vehicle. The VIN number is basically the serial number of every single vehicle out there. You can run the VIN numbers of the vehicle through insurance agencies and internet websites online to see whether or not that vehicle has a clean title or not.
So next thing you have to check is definitely the mileage and what your vehicle has been used for, because you want to know if it has been a work vehicle, is it regularly maintained, things like that.
So now you know that you want to see the vehicle. You know the mileage, you know what the vehicle has been used for, you know the title, you know that they have the registration. You make a trip to go and get that neutral party inspection, and you know you want to see and buy that vehicle now. Please check whether or not that vehicle has leaks on the roof. That is a very important step that we missed out, and it rains on us all the time and we get wet all the time. And then finally you can purchase your vehicle. However, if everything was right and the roof leak was wrong, or the third-party mechanic inspection was wrong, and you spend 2 months looking for the car, please do not be afraid to walk away from that vehicle.
So now you've chosen your vehicle, but now comes the tough part, the administrative process in getting that vehicle. So different states have different procedures. For instance, in New York, you go to the DMV, but in New Jersey, you go to the MVC. So you need to go and search on every state's website for state-specific regulations before buying a vehicle. But despite these different regulations, what you need should be the same. Firstly, you need the title. Then you need the registration. Before then, getting an inspection to make sure that your vehicle is legally safe to drive on the road. And you need to take your vehicle in to either an automotive car repair shop that does inspections, and you have to pay them. And then finally, and one of the most important things, is getting insurance for your vehicle and for yourself, so that you are both safe to drive on the road and to have a good time. There are a few types of insurance you can get, but mainly 2 types: basic and comprehensive. Basic just covers the very minimal collision damage, but for comprehensive, it covers a whole range of other external things, which we definitely recommend you to get. Ijia and I didn't get it because we cheaped out initially on the insurance. We regret it so much, and we'll always recommend everybody to get comprehensive because you never know what happens on the road.
So now that you know whether or not you want to buy basic or comprehensive, please buy comprehensive. You have to know that not every insurance company will cover you. And it's very hard to find an insurance company that will cover a foreign license. So the best way to do this and all this administrative process is to go to a college town, because they are used to dealing with foreign licenses. In college towns, there are insurance brokers that you can call, and they have dealt with many international licenses before.
So here are some additional tips to facilitate your buying a van. First and most important, get your international driver's license and your foreign driver's license ready. It really makes things easier. Tip number 2, in the event that you ever buy your vehicle out of state, there are 3 ways that you can kind of bring it back to your state or place of residence. First being that you can get it towed all the way by a towing company back, which will be very expensive. Number 2, you can actually get it registered right straight on the spot at the nearest DMV or MRV or whatever, but it's almost close to impossible, and you need a US driver's license to do that, so we would not recommend that. Number 3, it's kind of illegal, but we read online on Reddit that some people do it, is that they just drive their vehicle all the way back to their place of residence. Would not recommend, highly illegal, but it's your vehicle and your choice. So
when you register your vehicle, they will always ask you for an address. And many van lifers have a problem with this. Where are you going to put your permanent address if you live in a van? We heard that one place possible if you don't come on your student visa or work permit and you don't have family and friends, which all those are better options, is to use a PO box. Personally, I didn't use it. I don't know, but you can use a PO box for that. So you came to the US, you got your visa, you got your van, you got your registration, your title. Now it's the fun stuff. You get to build a van. So there are a couple of things that you need to do when you build a van. The first thing to do, and most important thing, is to plan your layout. Do a lot of research, do a lot of studying. I like to joke that my master's was actually in van building and not in finance. You need to think about your essentials: food, water, electricity, right? Are you going to have a fridge, or are you going to meal prep? Are you going to have a cooler? How are you going to keep your water? How much water do you need? Are you going to have a tap? Are you going to have a grey water tank? Are you going to have a black water tank? How much fresh water are you going to have? Lastly, how are you going to sleep, right? What kind of bed system are you going to have? And the last thing that you need to think about is electricity, right? It brings it all together. Are you going to have lights at night? Are you going to have solar panels? Are you going to have an inverter? What kind of electrical equipment are you going to use? How much charging are you going to use? And all these things require a lot of planning and a lot of studying. I would recommend for your planning part to look at a lot of people online and see what they did. Next, I'm going to tell you about the tools that you need. Believe it or not, this entire van that you're looking at was built with, I think, just 4 tools. Literally 4 tools that we bought online and we sold it off for a profit. Seriously, it's crazy. The first tool that you need is a drill. A drill basically just screws in stuff and takes stuff out. It is the number 1 most essential tool. The second tool is a circular saw. We are making straight cuts, like along here, straight cuts around this. You need a circular saw. And that helps you cut straight and is the cheapest way possible of getting something to cut straight. The third thing you need is something called a jigsaw. This jigsaw helps you cut through metal, through our roof, our Max FN, and these rounded edges that you see over here, they're all done with a jigsaw. And that is the purpose of a jigsaw, to cut corners and make things round. The last thing that you need to do is an orbital grinder. Now that makes the wood usable. And basically with these 4 things, of course you have to buy your additional stuff like your sandpaper and your screws and your bolts and nuts, but these are the 4 tools that you need to do. Now, as proper poppers, we're going to tell you how to get this on the cheap. Either go to Walmart, Home Depot and Lowe's, and this idea was from Ryan Trahan, by the way. Bought something from Target and he returned it within like 30 days or something, and you get your money back. Although not very ethical, but you could do that. You could go to Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, buy something just for the project and return it straight after. We didn't do that. We went to Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace has a lot of stuff available online. You could get the whole set that we had for $45 or $50. The second place that you have to look at in America are these places called thrift shops and second-hand shops. In Ithaca, where I was, we had Ithaca Reuse, and that basically had all these old equipment where you could buy a drill for like $3. So that was a life changer for us. Lastly, for your electrical equipment, there are some really niche shops that you have to get really thick gauge wires from. The hack that we found was to go to stereo shops. These places install stereo wires for your cars, and sometimes they use really thick gauges. So I heard you can go to welding places as well, but your local stereo shop should have good quality wires for any electrical work that you need to have done. Lastly, Amazon Prime, our best friend. You can come on a trial, order all the stuff that you need, free shipping, and comes in a couple of days. And with all these, you should be set.
So now you know how to build your van. Don't you want to know how to live that life? The most important thing you need to know in van life is, of course, where to park and where to shower, right? And we have this one place that fits all our requirements, which is Planet Fitness, a gym that can be found across the whole of America for just a $20 membership a month for the both of us. And it is absolutely perfect. So what happens is that we can drive in there, get a good workout, have a nice shower. We can even fill up our water tank there as there's a water cooler. So we would highly recommend anyone who wants to start van life to get a gym membership. Also, if you're looking for other places to park at night, you can definitely park at a Walmart. You can either park at a casino, because that's 24 hours and we have done that on a few occasions as well. A Cracker Barrel, that's pretty safe. And you need to be also wary that you might be always able to get the knock when you're parked at a place that you're not supposed to park at. And it's always important to ask for permission, make sure you're safe. If not, don't be shocked when you get the knock. And also, the next thing you guys might want to know is how we cook in our van, right? So we actually have this little like drop down table here, which is like super nice, and it actually helps us to like put our stove down. So we actually cook with like a normal like gas stove, so we just crank it up and just cook most of the time. And we also have a fridge, so that makes things very easy, and we can store stuff in the freezer and stuff like that. So cooking is pretty easy in the van. Next, about laundries, we mostly just get it done at the laundromats or whenever we visit a friend. So we try to like rewear some of our clothes. It's a bit hard during summer months, but winter is a lot easier because we don't sweat a lot. So it's also really important to know where to store your stuff in a van, because a van is just such a small space and it's so much smaller than your room. So we actually use a lot of these cushions, which are really awesome, and they store like our blankets and our jackets and stuff like that, which we really love and highly recommend. Get a cushion for storage. And also, where you're going to work, right? Since you're on the road, some of you might still be having jobs and needing Wi-Fi. Well, we highly recommend going to a college town, because that's where like the entire ecosystem for working is just there and set in place. With Edu-Roam, it's even better, right? Or you can actually head to a Starbucks, grab a nice like cappuccino, latte, green tea matcha, whatever, and use the Wi-Fi because it's actually the fastest ever in America for like a chain. And most importantly, if you ever run into an unsafe situation on the road, right? Just remember, you can just lock up and just drive away as fast as you can. And I think that's it. That's how you live van life. Find a great partner to do it with. Have a lot of fun in America. Come on in.
Just one thing that you have to remember about buying a fan is that you have
Buying a fan